We invest in what we value. Think about it. We put our time, energy, money into what feels important to us. Daily Starbucks runs, impulsive shopping online, eating out several times a week because we're too tired to cook. And yet when it comes to our careers, our future, our fulfillment, we tell ourselves, I just can't afford to get help, or it's not the right time, or I'll deal with it later. But what if the real issue isn't affordability? Welcome back to Work Unscripted, the place where we strip away the filters and talk honestly about what it means to build a career and a life that truly matter. And today we're cracking the code in this mini-series as a part of Work Unscripted. I'm here to investigate the why behind work, relationships, and human behavior. And today's episode will not disappoint, and in fact, I really hope it challenges you. I hope it makes you squirm. Sorry. Not sorry. Mostly, I hope it opens up just space in your brain and your heart that you've been ignoring for a while. What you want isn't always what you need. You want to shove down the reasons why your career hasn't taken off when you need help from someone outside yourself. Or you want that bag of chocolate chip cookies, but you also need to lose weight for health. Well, that's me talking, sorry. Just a little, sidebar. Or you want to compartmentalize your work and life, believing that work can be miserable if life is good, but you need to feel fulfillment, and that can't be compartmentalized. You can want all day long, and it's never going to be what you need, because what you need is clarity and alignment. Today, I want to talk about what it would look like to spend our time, money, and energy like our lives depended on it. Because they kind of do. Let me tell you about a bike ride that changed absolutely everything for me. Nearly 20 years ago, I decided to treat myself to a bike ride, and I went from Prague to Vienna. It was costly. I mean, seriously costly at the time, like $10,000 between the airfare, the group travel itinerary, and then this travel with a company called Backroads. I don't know if you've heard of that, but they're an amazing company. But I felt it in my bones that I needed to do something other than just work. So I flew to Prague by myself, and I walked around the city for a day before the trip began. And then I joined the group. And we were on our bikes, and we're just riding through this endless countryside. It was absolutely amazing. And then something happened. I felt truly free. I was just riding with the wind in my face in small towns. And it was so cool, towns like Český Krumlov with these cobblestone roads. I had no meetings, no deadlines, didn't even have my computer on me, no international calling plan, just me, a bike, and 8 hours a day with my own thoughts. I can still feel the peace of that day and that trip to this day. And along that journey between two countries and a million pedal strokes, I had this crystal clear moment. I didn't want to go back to the life I was living. Specifically, I didn't want to go back to the relationship I was in. I was dating someone who, if I'm truly being honest with myself, was completely wrong for me. We weren't aligned on the big stuff. We weren't even really aligned on the little stuff. But I'd stayed just because it was easy. It was comfortable. It was familiar. And that ride, it helped me realize that I wanted something more. I wanted a real relationship. I wanted a future that felt expansive, not confining. I wanted something abundant, not scarce. So when I got home, I immediately ended that relationship. I mean, immediately. And then a few weeks later, yes, we're talking weeks, I met the man who would become my husband. A little over a year later, we were married, and today, more than 17 years later, how time flies, we have a beautiful family of 4. That moment of pause allowed me to shut down the world around me and simply think to myself, I'm riding along the Danube, and as I'm holding onto my bike handlebars. And that gave me clarity. It also gave me peace in what I needed and what I deserved. It didn't come because I sat in a strategy session or I complained to someone about wanting to find my soulmate. It didn't come from journaling or therapy, though those things are great. Not going to say that those things aren't. And it didn't come from overthinking. Overthinking, probably what I'm doing right now. It came because I gave myself the space to feel what was truly important to me in that moment. So let me ask you, when was the last time you gave yourself space to reflect on your life and your career? Because if you're running from call to call, from email to email, you might be missing the whisper that says, this isn't it, or there's more for you. And that may mean you're missing what you need to be investing in yourself. Let's talk about money, specifically the lie we tell ourselves about money. I told myself I couldn't afford that bike trip for years until one day I finally, well, albeit impulsively, I just signed up for it. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I can't afford a coach, or I can't invest in that workshop or that retreat, or it's just too expensive to explore a new career path. Really? Is your misery worth the lack of investment in yourself? Or are you investing in yourself in fleeting ways that don't bring long-term fulfillment? Buying those $7 lattes? Ordering takeout 4 times a week? Dropping $200 on a jacket you didn't need but thought you deserved a treat and wore it once before it was relegated to the back of your closet? Let's break it down even further. If you spend $7 a day at Starbucks, that's over $2,500 a year. Yeah, it is. Now imagine putting that into leadership coaching, career coaching, or personal development retreat, or even just taking time off to reset and refocus on a long weekend away. That $2,500 could change your life, not just give you a momentary warm and fuzzy feeling. But we don't do that because the discomfort of change often feels more expensive than the comfort of inertia. Does that reframe it for you? You're already spending every single day. The real question is, what are you actually buying? Are you buying short-term convenience at the expense of long-term clarity? Are you numbing yourself with comfort instead of investing in courage? You don't have to overhaul your budget overnight, but maybe, just maybe, skip one latte this week. And instead, save that $7 for something that will make a true shift in your life. That's where change starts. But there is something even more valuable than money, way more valuable. And that is time. We are constantly budgeting it, whether we realize it or not. And just like money, we often say, I don't have time. There's just too much going on. I'll think about that next month. Or the easy one, I'm tired. But I challenge you to look at your calendar. Seriously, pull it up right now. In this very moment, pull up your calendar. How many hours are you spending in meetings where someone on your team could attend instead of you? How many hours are you scrolling on your phone for that TikTok hack? Saying yes to things that don't align with your goals and values. If your calendar reflected your values, what is truly important to you, what would it show? Maybe you're pouring hours into helping everyone else succeed, but leaving nothing for your own growth. Maybe you're spending energy avoiding the real questions because you're afraid of the answers. You don't need to overhaul your entire schedule, but can you reclaim 1 hour a week? 1 hour to pause, stop, reflect on what you truly need. Time is your most precious resource. Budget it like your future depends on it, because it does. So here's where I slap you hard. Remember when I said, what you want isn't always what you need? You want a new job, but you need clarity on your values. You want a raise for all the work that you put in, but you need to set boundaries. You want things to be easier, but you need to lead differently. You want more autonomy, but you need to stop seeking permission. You want less stress, but you need to stop overfunctioning. Stop chasing the symptom instead of the source. When I was dating the wrong person, I kept thinking I wanted him to change. What I needed was the courage to walk away and believe there was someone better suited for the life I envisioned. And guess what? When I paused and defined the man that I truly needed and owned that vision, he showed up. Most importantly, I showed up for myself. So ask yourself, what do you keep saying you want? And what might be underneath that? What you truly need? You let yourself go there. Come on, just do it. Let yourself go there. It might be uncomfortable, but it might also be liberating. Here's what I want to leave you with today. You always invest your time, money, and energy every single day in your habits, your routines, your conveniences. So the question isn't, can you invest in your future? It's, will you? This week, I challenge you to do one thing. Skip one fancy coffee. Reclaim 1 hour. Say no to one thing that drains you and yes to something that fuels you. And then tell me about it. DM me. I want to hear what you're shifting and what you're discovering, because you don't have to make a massive change at all or all at once. You just have to choose your future. One decision at a time. That's it. Thanks for joining me for this mini moment of insight on Work Unscripted. If today's episode helped you see your world a little differently or inspired you to make one small change and you want that for others, just pass it along. And don't forget to rate and review. It's always appreciated. If you're an executive looking to lead your life a little differently, you can learn more about working with me on my website, marlolyonscoaching.com, or find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, all the typical socials. Till next time, stay unscripted. The journey is yours.